Hey guys, and welcome to the show. If you've never seen an interview with a Greek god, you're not going to get to see one today either. But that's okay, I've got the next best thing. Today we're talking with The Hunter. I know it's a long one, but sit down and enjoy the interview. He's very different in person when you sit down than his very intense online alter ego, so enjoy it. That's coming up right after this. All right, so first and foremost, I want to thank you for taking the time to participate in the series. I love the live shows that you've been doing lately, all of them.
Really?
I try to catch like every single one of them that I can. Sometimes I'm in the car because I commute to and from work. It's about like an hour and 15 minutes. So I check my phone right away. And if you're doing a live show, I'll just plug it into the car speakers so I can at least hear it while I'm driving. And it was actually the shows that you were doing with John that gave me the idea to like, oh, well, I should talk to other YouTubers and interview them. So credit where credit is due. You know, you guys doing the shows kind of got me thinking about interviewing people from other channels and, you know, finding a way to do more collaborations. So I've really enjoyed it. I hope it's something you keep up with.
One thing, John, you know, when I talk to John, we become quite close, and we never rehearse. We don't even talk about what we're going to talk about, and they just flow naturally. If people enjoy them, great. If they don't, it's okay. We're having a hell of a time, and you know, we inspire each other. To tell you the truth, you know, I was inspired by Archie. My initial thoughts of Archie, 2 years before I decided to start talking about watches, I stumbled across one of his videos, and I'm like, who is this pompous English dude? I didn't even know he was Australian.
Yeah.
And then about a couple of years after, I was searching for a video. I can't remember what it was. I came across a video called "The Modern Dilemma: Which Watch Attracts the Biggest?" Of course, there's two watches. Apparently, one is a Rolex sub, and the other is the Seamaster 300, which happen to be two of my favorite watches. And I'm like, really? And I made a response, and he responded to me. And you know, I was kind of mean a little bit. So, you know, I made some references, you know, this and that.
Yeah.
And you know, as we became friends, and then I realized that his mom had died about a year or so ago, and I called him up. I said, for God's sakes, there. Paul, I definitely I need to apologize to you for making those kind of comments, you know, that I made. I was just angry, and you know, I never thought that anybody would watch it. I was just, and he was really he was really nice about it, and we become very good friends. And with John, I speak to John at least 2 or 3 times a week, sometimes 4 times a week. I speak to Archie on a regular basis. The other day I was on with Simon for 2 hours, you know.
Nice.
And,
Yeah.
And you know, we inspire each other. It's you know, and now there's Chris Marshall that I recently discovered. I discovered another individual. Daniels, something Daniels. He made a video response about the Steinhardt, and I discovered his channel just a few days ago. I have yet to promote him, but in my next video I probably will. I just love, you know, and Daniels and Marshall, they're totally against I guess watches like Steinhardt.
Yeah.
And you know, I love that because it's a ground for, you know, discussion. It's ground for debate, and you know, what would the world be like if everybody agreed with us, right? How boring.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so I really love the fact that there are different voices out there, you know, and I really like the fact that I respect those that disagree with me, because it gives me a chance either to explain myself or even correct myself at the same time, because, you know, like we're fallible, we're not perfect. I couldn't stand Grand Seiko 2 years ago. The last 6 months or so, I found this newfound respect for the brand, and you know, we evolve, we change.
What have you got on? I've got a couple glimpses of it. Is that your vintage?
Watch? Oh, yes. I'm actually wearing, where's the camera? the Zenith Captain. Hold on, let me take it off. Give you a little better look here. And a lot of people ask me to make a full review of this watch. I haven't made a review of it yet. I think it's. Can you see it?
Yeah.
And
what year? Do you know what year it is?
1962.
Nice.
19. Yeah, that's when I bought it from the gentleman who originally bought it. He bought this one for himself, and he bought another one for his wife. So I bought them both from him. I paid $250 for both.
What?
Yeah, this one needed servicing, so I figured, you know what? I don't know what's really wrong with it. It wouldn't. The stem, I could feel the stem inside was loose, but it wasn't working. He's like, I think it needs cleaning. I'm like, well, no, there's something wrong with it. So I can only offer you $250 for it, for both. And I said, well, I'm going to take the proceeds that I take from I get from his wife's Zenith, which was 18 karat gold, solid gold, and sell that and use whatever money I make from that to
service this one.
Yeah, but the service was only I can't remember if I mentioned how much I paid for the service at this place called Onga here in Montreal. I think it was either $70 or $120, but it wasn't what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And they replaced the stems and they put they replaced the hands, and the hour hand. I don't know if you can see it, is a little different. The tone of it is a little different than the minute hand. It's a little different than the hour hand, and it kind of bugs me. And I asked him about it, and he said, well, these watches, when they were new, the hour hand and the minute hand were a little different. And I said, well, find me two hands that are
the same,
that are same from the same watch, and we'll use them from here. And so far, he hasn't called me, but that's the plan for this watch, is to actually replace these new hands with original hands from another donor watch. And
okay.
It's a 36mm watch. It's got the nice Zenith crown. It's automatic. It's spot on when it comes to accuracy. And when I picked it up, there was somebody there at the watchmakers. He offered me money for it. I can't remember if it was
really
$1,000 or $1,200 for it. And I said no, thank you. And as it turns out, it has a rare and very, very sought after movement inside. And but it has no date, right? It has no date. The Jaguar Couture has a date, and it's white metal as opposed to the gold one. I love that a lot more. It's probably, but I can respect this watch because I basically got it for nothing,
Oh yeah.
And I just like this watch. But what are you wearing?
I'm wearing the JLC.
Oh yeah, yeah. Isn't that nice?
I haven't. I took it off for a little bit when I first got the dog, just so that he wouldn't scratch it up when I was working with him.
My sub, before I had it serviced, had a whole bunch of teeth marks all around the bezel, and now it's been polished and repaired, and I kind of regret servicing. Well, not servicing the watch. I had to service the watch, but then changing. I think they changed the bezel. Insert, and I kind of regret it because those memories you can't really replace, and the Steinhardt that you had for a while. It was
what happened to that bezel?
There's a little marker on the 10 o'clock.
No, it's not little.
Yeah, well, that was from the handcuffs. I got arrested. I think it was last February. I got arrested for. I kind of lost it somewhere, and I just kicked everybody's shoes out of an office.
What?
Yeah, long story. And they called the cops, and when the cops came, they were like, I just picked up, I think, somebody's boot, and I just threw it at the cop.
It was a lot of fun to wear. I like the bigger size, and I love. I like the way that they cut out the bezel, so the indents along the coin edge of it where you can grip it, they're solid. They're a little bit deeper than.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's really machined, really, really nice. And I really like the way you dressed it up with the NATO straps. It looked really, really good on you.
Oh, thank you. I didn't want to mess up the bracelet, because I can be really hard on bracelets sometimes. So
No,
I'll take it off.
I told Guido, I said, because he was going, he was leaving Amsterdam, and he was going or Holland. No, Amsterdam. He was going to some festival, and I said, I hope the watch arrives in time for you to take it to the festival. I want it to go everywhere. And of course, he left for the festival, and the watch came later that same day. And he
Oh,
wore it around. And then Simon got it, and I said, look, Simon, wear it at the butcher shop. All right. When I get it back, I want some blood on it, not yours. You know, you know, some poor pigs or cows or something like that. You know? But don't be afraid to wear it. They're built like tanks. And he wore it
yeah.
around, and while he was working, and Gary got it from WRF 06.
Yeah, super nice guy.
Amazing. And I told Gary, I said, Gary, wear it at work. You know, just because I'll put it in my washing machine. Well, no, I draw the line there. Don't put it in the washing machine, right? But wear it at work, you know. And so you should have worked with the bracelet.
Yeah, with the bracelet.
Yeah.
So what all watches do you have right now?
Well, I have this one, the JLC with the dates, the sub, the Steinhardt OVM, the Steinhardt GMT. What else we have? The 2554, which is going for a service. I finally got it off my wife's wrist.
Yeah, I love that one.
Yeah. She and Don Haynes sent me an orange G-Shock.
I saw that. I saw that.
So my wife she put it on. She says, "Oh, what a funky, beautiful little watch." You know, I said, "Don, she really likes the watch," and he goes, "Well, happy birthday, Mrs. H." You know, so he gave it to her, and which is you know, for me was beautiful because now I could probably
get your Seamaster back.
Seamaster back. I've got the 300, the coaxial 2500, the Bond watch. What else? I have a Datejust that I've given to my son George. I have a Panerai that I've only worn once. My son Jimmy has it. And that's it. I have two antiques inside the bank, which I never take out, and maybe one day I'll take them out and show them. And one used to be a pocket watch. Oh, and I have my grandfather's pocket watch. I got it last week. My mother actually finally gave it to me. She forgot that she brought it from Greece. A couple of G-Shocks. Anything else? I have a Mako XL. That.
How do you like that?
I love the Mako XL. My father actually, he's been wearing it. My father had this Seiko from the 70s, this green, grayish Seiko from the 70s, and he would take it off when he would go fishing in Greece. And while I was there in 2014, I bought him another Seiko. That Seiko was like, you know, like enough already, right? It reminds me of some 80-year-old guy who bought a Dodge Dart back in 1969 and still drives it, right? So I bought him I think it was a Seiko 5 or something. It was like a diver's watch. And I put it exactly where his watch was. He put on the watch. He wore it for 2 days, had no idea that the watch wasn't his watch. He had no idea. And finally I told him, what time is it? He's like, why are you asking me what time it is? You got to watch, Mr. Fancy Pants. You know, because he doesn't get horology, my father. He's like, what a monumental waste of time. Yeah. So he starts to look at his watch, and he's scratching his face. He's trying to figure out what's going on. He's like, I don't know, there's something weird about this watch. And what's the problem? He's like, I don't know. I think I broke the watch. It's different. You know? So, and he left that watch in Greece. Long story. He was coming here. He wanted to resize the watch, so he took off the watch. He gave it to my mother. And he misses his plane, so he had to buy another ticket to come to Canada, and he forgets the watch. So I said, here, take this one, you know, the Mako XL. And he's like, oh wow, this looks like an expensive watch. I'm like, it really is expensive. I go, it's like about $150, so don't lose it, you know. But I really like it. And there's another watch from Orient that I really love. It's a diver's watch. It's made in Brazil. It's a Greek Neptune, Orient Neptune. I can't remember what it is, and I think I'll be getting that one next to replace that one. It's got it doesn't have the mineral crystal. I think it has the sapphire crystal. Yeah, that would be it.
What's your favorite? Which one's your favorite? Do you have a favorite?
That is a loaded question because depending on the day. But like, but I've made this video in the past that if I had to sell or give away every one of my watches, the only one I would keep is a sub. Um, and I don't know why. Um, it took me about at least 2 years to decide to go out there and buy an Omega. I was a Rolex guy through and through. I mean, I wouldn't wear anything, and I just couldn't understand when I was younger how could anybody not wear a Rolex. And for me, it was, and it was all for the wrong reasons. You know, I've made videos explaining my progression into a horology, and in the beginning, it was just Rolex. It had nothing to do with horology. I didn't care at all that there was a mechanical movement inside. I didn't care that the movement hacked. I didn't even know what that was. I didn't even know how to use the bezel. You know, when I first got my first sub, and for me, it was all about the Rolex. I needed a Rolex as a young man to validate myself that I've done something here. That so it took me 2 years to go decide to buy an Omega. I saw Pierce Brosnan on the Johnny Carson show. And I'm like, what is that? And I found out what it was. It was the Bond watch, the Omega. I'm like, and I really loved it. It took me 2 years. Finally, you know what? Maybe I'll wear something else other than a Rolex.
Yeah.
And I went to the store to buy it, and I spotted a 2554. And I just gravitated towards that watch. And I walked out with that watch. I brought it home. My wife says, "You bought the exact same watch." Yeah. So you know, I went in to buy the blue one. I ended up buying the black one, and I think that the black one is.
I like that one a lot.
My second favorite watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful watch. What about you?
Well, my favorite.
Apart from the JLC,
Yeah. Apart from the JLC, I have to say that my favorite is the Marathon. I like that one because it's one that I don't ever have to worry about it. I like the look of it.
Yeah.
I like the history and the link to the military, specifically the American military.
Yeah.
So in a lot of ways, I feel like it keeps me connected to what represented really the first 9 years of my adulthood. And it's tough. Like in a lot of ways, I guess the first 9 years shaped, I don't want to say my character, because a lot of that shaped early on in your life, early teens. But I think that it's really tested when you go out on your own. And for me, that started in the military because I joined when I was 17 and I spent those next 9 years in the service. So for me, the Marathon kind of, it represents a lot of that for me.
Right.
And for that, I love it.
When we have a personal historical connection to something like a watch, no matter what comes along later in life, we still have, we have that inherent connection to that watch. And you know, I commend you on your service.
Thank you.
Thank you for it. I'm a big supporter of the military and a big supporter of servicemen and servicewomen. Most of us don't have the guts to go in that direction. I had a little bit of experience with the Army Cadets. I actually joined the Army Cadets when I was 13 years old. And you know, I came to realize quickly that the military is far too much of a big thing for me to handle. You know, my temperament wasn't made for the military. I'm not very good at following orders. I'm always getting into trouble, and
yes.
But I have this profound respect for military personnel, current and past. And my mother's grandfather was in the military. He fought in the Second World War in the Greek resistance, and 200 and odd days resisting the Nazis. And he helped shelter and protect, you know, some Greek Jewish people from the neighborhood on his farm. And I've always respected military personnel. I really do. I mean, I remember when I was driving my cab, if I would pick up somebody in uniform, I never would charge them. I just could never do it, you know.
When I left for the military, it was August of 2001. And then while I was in boot camp, 9/11 happened.
Right.
And, you know, I'll never forget. Nobody, I don't think anybody will ever forget where they were. 9/11. I don't think anybody in the world, especially not if you're American. And, you know, we're lining back up halfway through boot camp, and they tell us what happened. And, you know, of course they tell you, you know, your training just got real, or more real than it already was. And they let us all call home that evening. And I get on the phone with my mom, and she's like, I can't believe you did this to me. And I'm like, yeah, Ma, I 100% knew this was going to happen. And that's why I joined. I'm like, but on the bright side, nobody's sunk an aircraft carrier since World War II. So, you know, I was like, I think we're okay. You know, there are very few things in my life aside from my kids that I'm as proud of as I am my service, regardless how anybody feels about the military.
I don't know too many people who have any negative opinions about the military. I mean, we'll have negative opinions about politicians.
Yeah.
But not the military personnel.
So what does, you are a pretty prominent, I think it's fair to say you're a pretty prominent personality on YouTube, especially anybody that watches any watch related content. I am really curious. Your wife has on occasion made some special appearances where she's dragged onto the camera. But what does she think about it all? Because I don't think that people really understand unless they make videos, the amount of time that it takes from your personal life, not only putting the video together, but you're also very active on the social media end of it. So what is her perception of not only just you doing YouTube, but the persona that you take on YouTube as well sometimes?
As far as the persona goes, she all she tells me, please don't embarrass me, because her friends watch, right? Please don't embarrass me. And as far as everybody else, she talks when John calls. They'll have a friendly conversation. When Paul calls, she finds him extremely charming and friendly and very, very eloquent, and she loves. And of course, when Simon, she loves to talk to Simon once in a while too, as well. And as far as the actual like bravado, the character that I kind of portray, I guess she's probably at least he's being that way there and not in the house kind of a deal. But overall, she's been very supportive. She'll ask me, "Are you making a video today?" And because we've been married, we've been together a long time. We got married in 1985, so this will be 31 years in June. And she has her hobby, right? Her pastimes, and this happens to be mine. And she gets her quality alone time, and this is my quality alone time. It's how I decompress. I'll come home from a hard day, and I'll be dead tired. But as soon as I start planning a video, or I'm filming a video, everything goes away, and I really enjoy it. It's like I said, it's a lot of fun for me. Once it stops being fun, I guess I'll slow it down. But I just don't see that ever happening. But I could take personal attacks. I can take all that. Not an issue whatsoever with me, as long as they don't go near my family. Then I'm good with it. I guess that's my line in the sand, so to speak. As far as the haters go and the trolls, I mean, they could drown in a puddle of pee. I don't care. I don't really care. As long as I'm having fun and the people that watch the channel enjoy whatever it is I do, then I'm good with it.
What about you have two sons, right? And they're both older. Did they watch any of your videos? Did they ever call you up and they're like, "Oh, Dad, man, really?" Really?
No, they refuse to watch the videos altogether. Sometimes I force their girlfriends or my older sons.
Oh my God.
Come, I'm gonna show you something, and and my son's like, "Oh my God," So, but I know that once I'm dead, right? then they'll go back to watch some of the videos, and
Oh yeah.
there'll be something there. There's always something there for my kids in every video. Whatever advice I'd like to give on horology, it mirrors the advice I give on everyday situations in life. I'm not a perfect person, I'm not a perfect man. I'm not a particularly nice guy at times, but I do love my family. I do love my kids, and I do love to entertain. And I always like to leave something positive in every video.
What might you have your eye on next in terms of a watch? Is there something that you're looking to get?
The Sky Dweller is something
Oh, really?
really. I told my wife, I said, this is the watch I'm gonna get. She's like, oh, it's a nice watch. How much is it? So I told her it's about $45,000. She's like, I don't think so, mister. I said, well, I guess that would be my long-term goal. My short-term goals are much more realistic. Probably a pre-ceramic 45.5 PO, maybe even a Grand Seiko, high beat movement, maybe a Datejust 2, a white on white.
Yep.
But I'm not into complications. The only complication I really like is a date. I'm not into tourbillons. I'm not really crazy about chronographs. I like them, but I have no use for them. What else that would be perhaps of interest? The new blue and black and gray Yachtmaster is very nice. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yes, I have seen it. It is very, very nice.
Isn't it very nice? Yeah, that's quite nice. And Rolex has really outclassed Omega this year at Basel World, and I'm holding off on making that video, but there's it just
I'm kind of digging the GMT though. The Omega, the GMT that came out with the black and the black and white bezel. It's so big though. The Planet Oceans are so big. I would just wish they could pull it back a little bit.
They can make it a little thinner. Once it goes back down to normal size, the appeal will be much bigger. A 17 millimeter watch, in terms of a thick case, especially when you got a chromed, a domed crystal, and you've got big crown. It's a little over the top.
It's too much. It's too much. I like the look of it. I think the GMT is like 43.5 diameter, but it is that height when you when you pull it all together. It's so much. If they could tone it down just a little bit on the size, I think it would be. I love the look of it, but I just don't think it's manageable or practical.
On a kind of a one-dimensional or two-dimensional view, right? It's fine, but once you start to look at the whole thing as a package, then like if you wear a long sleeve shirt, it's gonna scuff your cuff. You're not gonna like it. I mean, I bought a ceramic 45.5. What was it? 2 summers ago? Last summer? I was thankful to get rid of it for the same price I bought it, and I was kind of really disappointed with that. But I think Rolex this year has outclassed Omega big time. They can find a way to make that coaxial escapement, that movement, a little thinner.
Oh, they've got to.
Because they're going to lose a lot of potential classic clients. You don't want to end up being a high-priced fashion watch brand.
And I think the problem with that, where it looks like they focus marketing-wise, is they've gone a bit short-term goal, right? Because like what you're talking about, long-term fashion watch, fad, you're kind of, I don't want to say status buyer, because I don't necessarily associate, and think most people are associating Omega with a status brand. But if somebody is just going off price tag and saying, okay, I want that, I want a big, heavy watch, I think the problem with that is it is a very short-term view from a marketing perspective, because in terms of longevity, that client that's going to keep coming back and keep buying something else is, like you're saying, it's the watch enthusiast, and they're looking for something that's a little bit more manageable, a little bit more classic, something that's going to endure a little bit more long-term. And I think that's the key thing that their designs right now are missing. They're very good short-term for the current market in terms of what's popular.
Yeah.
but I think they missed. I think they missed it in terms of longevity.
I think they're looking more of a type of a demographic that would be catered by a brand like Hublot
Yeah.
than a brand like Rolex. And maybe they're trying to separate themselves from the Rolex shadow, but they're being overshadowed now at this point. Rolex is doing some fantastic things, and they're coming out with some really good accurate movements. And they're going to be I've got to tip my hat to Rolex this year. I mean, they've done some really fantastic things with their watches and their designs, and they're not overstated. They're classic yet beautiful and fresh at the same time. For a brand that it moves slower than a donkey, I like to call them.
Yeah, no kidding.
But this year, I think that they've outclassed Omega, and perhaps next year we'll see some movement in the right direction from Omega. Otherwise, I think they're going to be losing, that mainstream client base. It's going to decline, and it'll be a shame, because if they kept that PO the same thickness originally that it was, like 12 or 13 millimeters. I think that the Planet Ocean would be perhaps the most attractive watch in terms of a dive watch.
I think you're right. If they'd have kept it there,
yeah,
and then thrown in the master chronometer,
yeah,
like they've done with these, I think that together that'd be a fantastic package and value. They've put so much emphasis on the master chronometer, where they've inflated the price so much and made it so big. And I don't want to say it, because I do like the brand, but it is very overpriced for what you're getting. They've put too many eggs in the basket of master chronometer. We understand that. You've created this other certification to a higher.
And too many limited, limited lines.
Yes.
Yes, it's if you're going to come out with something that's a limited edition, have one a year, right?
Yeah.
Make it a true limited edition. Don't make 5 or 6 limited editions. It kind of kills. You're overdoing it, and Rolex this year, unfortunately, for Omega, has outclassed them, and
There's something you said in a video that I agree with 100%, and a lot of purists are going to hate this, but you throw a date on the Daytona.
Yes.
And I'm in 100%, because I love the Daytona, kind of like I love the Speedmaster. But for me, the reason that I wouldn't get those is not because I don't like them or respect the pieces. It's because they don't have a date. So in terms of practicality and wearing it day to day, I won't. So you throw a date on the Daytona, and I'm all over that piece.
Different watch altogether. And but the Daytona is something that for Rolex is I don't know if you can call it their flagship watch, but it's a watch where they think they've done right, and the proof in the pudding is that you buy a watch for $12,000, 3, 4, 5, 10 years down the road, you're selling for $12,000. So from that perspective, I could see why they wouldn't change it, but it would be nice to see a date on a Daytona. Maybe even a limited edition, up to 1,000 pieces, say,
Oh yeah.
a year, and bring back, a Panda dial,
Oh yeah.
just bring it back, and make it modern, but keep it to its its true self. And I think that'll be a great, people go gaga over that watch, for those who can afford to buy a watch like that. They're a brand that are really dig their heels into their branding and their marketing. And they feel that the world's most recognizable watch brand out there, and they really are. I mean,
oh yeah, hands down.
First watch that comes to mind of any person who's not into horology is Rolex. What's the best watch? Rolex. Which one? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't ask. I mean, for if there's any brand out there, no matter what. I mean, the brands that are instantly recognizable: Rolex, Coca-Cola, Apple, right?
Oh yeah.
It's really it just just goes into the psyche, right? And you can't buy that. You know, it's something that it's a natural progression and an evolution of the client's or the I guess the uh, the consumer's way to identify with what they would perceive to be the best, right?
Yeah.
Um, you can't buy that, and any company that decides that they're going to try to achieve that kind of level would be fooling themselves and spending a lot of money for nothing. Omega's done it with the Bond movies, right? They've
Yeah.
spent a lot of money for product placement, but they're still behind Rolex, and they were catching up around 2007, 2008. They were catching up, and then they went on in a different direction, and who knows? Who knows where it's going to end? Hopefully, someplace good, because it's good for us consumers. When good things are available to us, we're going to spend $5,000, $10,000 on something.
Yeah.
You want it to be really, really good. You just don't want to spend that kind of money uh, and walk away feeling ripped off. So especially on a watch, right?
Is there anything kind of left to accomplish or to do or to experiment with or collaborate on in terms of YouTube that you haven't done yet, that you have in the works or that you want to do?
Yes. There's a few things I want to do, and that would be um, not in terms of channel growth. I'm not interested in channel growth. The channel is growing by itself, slowly, slowly. I don't advertise it anywhere. I have the Facebook group, and I never put any of my stuff inside there. But there's stuff I would like to do. I'm thinking about doing a tour next couple of years, going out to the UK and making some movies with Simon, Gary, anybody else out there that that I know. End up going to Australia, meeting John, meeting Paul, meeting a few good people that I've met through the channel, such as Mario, who's a tremendous human being. Going down to my parts, the Eastern Seaboard, where Matt is, Don is, and just meet everybody. And for me, I've made so many friends based on this YouTube thing, right? That I would have met anywhere. And I owe a tremendous amount of gratitude to YouTube for affording me the opportunity to meet these type of quality individuals. And but there's a lot more to be done, a lot more fun to be had. My channel, of course, is not about show and tell, right? Mine is I talk horology, whatever comes to my mind, and just to hope my wife gets that. Just to have fun and meet good people, and who knows where it's going to go. Hopefully, to good places. Sometimes we hit the gutter, but if you don't hit the gutter, you don't learn, right? And
Yeah.
I went from using my camera on a computer screen, right, to using professional editing software. Like had you asked me 3-4 years ago how to use one of those things, I couldn't have done it. I would look at you and say, yeah, no. And and I'll tell you one thing. I have a new intro song and a new outro song that has been specifically written for my channel, for me, by a professional, a personality. I mean, this guy is big. He's worked with bands. I could tell you bands. But I won't divulge his name. And I've managed to become very good friends. I talk to him almost every day, and he's developed a real professional, unique, copyrighted theme intro and theme outro for the channel. And had you asked me that 2-3 years ago, I'd be like, no, it's not going to happen. Nobody cares. But there's good people out there, and you'll come across them in your career as you move on. And I hope to see them, in the future. And I hope to see them, in the future. And I hope to see them, in the future. And I hope to see them, in the future. And I hope to see them, in the future. And I hope to see them, in the future. And I hope to see them, in the future. And I hope to see them, in the future. And I hope to see them, in the future. And I hope to see them, in the future. And I hope to see them, in the future. And I hope to see them, in the future. And I hope to see them, in the future. And I hope to see them, in the future. And I hope to see them, in the future. And I hope to see them, in the future. And I hope to see them, in the future. And I hope to see them, in the future. And I hope to see them, in the future. And I hope to see them, in the future. And I hope to see them, in the future. And I hope to see them, in the future. And I hope to see them, in the future. And I hope to see them, in the future. And I hope to see them, in the future. And I hope to see them, in the future. And I hope to see them, in the future. And I hope to see them, in the fu your channel is definitely going to grow. It's you have a unique perspective on horology, and you're the only woman out. Well, there's a couple of other ones, but you're the only woman that has a deep love and appreciation for her watches, and your channel is going to go great places. It's going to grow. It's I believe it. I think you'll be right behind the urban gentry and right behind Archie Luxury in a few years, and the rest of us will be just doing our thing. But your channel, you're on the right path, and when something becomes a labor of love, there's no way to do it but very well, right? If you love what
Yeah.
you're doing, you're gonna do it very well, and it shows, on your videos, and you're doing a hell of a production, and good reviews, and keep it up. You'll do very, very well for yourself.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Keep up the live shows. I am a huge fan
Good.
of the live shows. Like I said, anytime I can catch them, and you guys watching, if you haven't caught any of Andy's live shows, you are really missing out. What I really like about you with the live shows is that it's really much more of a sincere look at you, and I think that's what I've really come to appreciate about them, and that's what I find so appealing, and that's why I'm tuning into them. So
I don't think that there's anybody out there that we shouldn't be watching in the community. We all have a perspective. We all have an opinion, and the more opinions that are different than everybody else's, right, the better, because you get the whole view of the scope of horology. They don't understand how much I actually love it.
yeah.
No matter how tired I am, or if I had a bad day, this puts me in a good mood. So thanks for asking me to come on your program. I really had a good time there, CG. Thanks a lot.
Well, I really, really appreciated you coming on. It was awesome to finally talk to you outside, like just commenting on the videos.
Enjoy life.
Thank you so much. Say thank your wife for me for lending you to me for an hour and a half this evening. I appreciate it.
She loves you, by the way, so don't worry.
Thank you.
Take care.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that chat with the Hunter. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And as always, if this is your first time here, don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this. That's it for this one. CG